Welcome everyone to a new series we're going to be doing called the DFS Tutorial. It's brought to you by StatKings.com. Episode 1 is for beginners. I want to start with an overview of daily fantasy sports just in general. We're going to be talking about salary cap, scoring system research, filling a lineup, and finally contests. I've been playing fantasy sports since the 7th grade. I'm 38 years old. In those dinosaur times, we had to keep the stats from pencil and paper, using the sporting news every week. The internet age has changed all that. Yearly leagues are being played at an all-time high. This has morphed into a new monster called daily fantasy sports, which is catching on like wildfire. So let's start with our first topic, salary cap. Salary cap. Every team is given a salary cap and every player is given a salary. Better players will have higher salaries, weaker players are going to have the lower salaries. Salaries are based on performance, and performance is based on skill and playing time. Salary caps are just numbers used to keep each user from drafting that player too much. For example, think of it as a Vegas line. The purpose of having the line is to try and get each side to bet equally on each team. Salaries are very similar in daily fantasy sports. If LeBron James is too high of a salary, nobody's going to play him. If he's too low, everyone will. Each site tries to get a salary just right, so you'll have to work to get him in your lineup. Just remember, salaries are just numbers based on controlling the percent owned. They won't always predict who will score the most. It's up to you to evaluate the salaries and find out where the value is. So let's go on to our next topic, scoring system. Scoring system. Every scoring system is different. When people call me on the phone and say, Tony, who should I draft? I always ask them first, what is the scoring system? Make sure you know what gets you points. In NFL, do you get 6 points for a passing TD or do you get 4? In NBA, do you get bonus points for a double-double? In Major League Baseball, do you get points for walks, negative points for strikeouts? All these factor into the research you will have to do to uncover the players that have the advantages. Once you have the scoring system in your head, start looking for trends. Quarterbacks will usually be the most consistent players because they touch the ball in every play. In NBA, for example, it's different. Usually centers and point guards will be the most consistent because they rack up rebounds and assists at a higher rate. When you find the most consistent positions, try to plug them at your flex or utility spots, especially in head-to-head leagues when you're looking for just enough points to beat your one opponent. So let's go to our next topic, which is research. Research. Knowledge is power. Get informed. Check out websites like rotogrinders.com, rotoworld.com, rotowire.com. These are all great sites to research on. They're going to give you the edges you're going to need in fielding a competitive lineup. In general, watch a player's usage rate. Is it getting playing time now but wasn't a few weeks ago? These players will help keep your cap down so you can plug the higher salary players. They're going to get you your most points. Matchups. Look at matchups. They're a big deal in daily fantasy sports. For example, in NBA, look at defense first position to find players going against weak opponents. In Major League Baseball, look at the pitcher versus batter history. Try and find the trends and go with them. This is usually where you're going to find your best value. Also look at streaks. Players can get hot anytime, and when they do, try to plug them in your lineups then. Let's go to our next topic, which is filling a lineup. Filling a lineup. Okay, Tony, I'm in the draft lobby. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Calm down, okay? I am here to help. First, always start with the lower salary guys and plug them in. Then you're going to be able to figure out where you can play the high salary players and get your most points. It's the best way, in my opinion, to field a lineup that is competitive. Finding the low salary values is the key to winning at daily fantasy sports. Second, don't play injured players ever. Sometimes the player is questionable, and if they do play, they're not at full strength. Stick to the guys you know will be in the lineup that night. This is the biggest rule for beginners to remember. You can't win if you're getting 0 from a position. Third, wait until later in the day to field your lineup so you can see the starters available. News or lineups usually don't come in to the last minute, so try to wait until you have all the information at hand to field a lineup so you can have a full slate of healthy players or starters. Finally, use your head, not your heart. It's all about business. Don't fall in love with players and plug them every night. This is a recipe for disaster. Find the hidden gems and go with them. Don't try to play guys just because they're on TV. Always go with the numbers. They usually never lie. So let's go to our next topic, contests. Contests. There's usually 3 different types of contests: head-to-heads, leagues, and guarantees. Guarantees require different strategies than head-to-heads and leagues. For the guarantees, try to diversify your lineups. For example, if I'm playing the stock market, I'm not going to put all my money into one stock. That's not smart. I'm going to spread my money over a lot of different stocks. That's the way you have to do it in daily fantasy sports. The key is to win, and playing the same lineup 5 times is not efficient. Give yourself different combinations so you have a chance to cash in on a big one. Head-to-heads in leagues. Try to get your best lineup in and stick with it. Play it safer in these formats. Beating one person is a lot easier than beating 1,000. Don't play high stakes until you feel comfortable. Get your feet wet first and then try the big games. Remember, there are sharks out there just waiting to take your money. And lastly, you won't always win, so just stay calm and try to grind it out. Patience is a virtue in daily fantasy sports. Well, that does it for the show, guys. Today we've explored the basic fundamentals key to succeeding in the ever-booming DFS community. We're talking about daily fantasy sports. To recap, we have covered salary caps, scoring system research, filling a lineup, and the 3 main contest types. With these tips, you already are a cut above most users. Now it's time for you to put them into practice and start building your bankroll. Thanks for watching and good luck. We'll be back next time with episode 2, Managing Your Bankroll. Remember, do your research and choose your team wisely if you want to become fantasy sports royalty. From Stat Kings headquarters, as usual, I'm Tony Badalucco. See you guys. Goodbye and good luck.